A father's love turned into an unthinkable nightmare that would haunt a community forever. After more than 3 grueling months of searching through Washington's wilderness, authorities announced Thursday they've discovered what they believe are the remains of Travis Decker, the 32-year-old man who stands accused of committing one of the most heartbreaking crimes imaginable, the murder of his own 3 young daughters. But here's where this case gets even more disturbing. The discovery occurred in a secluded, heavily wooded region south of Leavenworth, bringing a tragic conclusion to an exhaustive manhunt that captivated and horrified the Pacific Northwest. While DNA testing will provide definitive confirmation, preliminary evidence strongly suggests these are indeed Decker's remains, according to the Chelan County Sheriff's Office. What makes this case particularly chilling is how a routine father-daughter visit spiraled into every parent's worst nightmare. 3 innocent victims, 8-year-old Evelyn, 9-year-old Peyton, and 5-year-old Olivia, were discovered on June 2nd near a remote campground approximately 130 miles east of Seattle. The horrific details revealed in court documents paint a picture so disturbing that it challenges our understanding of parental bonds. And this is the part most people miss. The warning signs were already there. According to legal documents, the children had been restrained with zip ties and had plastic bags placed over their heads. A preliminary medical examination determined that asphyxiation was the most likely cause of death, a conclusion that sends chills down any parent's spine. Near the tragic scene, investigators found Decker's abandoned white pickup truck, marked with 2 bloody handprints on the tailgate, serving as a grim testament to the violence that had occurred. The timeline of events reveals a pattern that raises uncomfortable questions about our child protection systems. Decker, described by his ex-wife Whitney as homeless and struggling with significant mental health challenges, had been granted scheduled visitation rights with his daughters. When he failed to return the children as planned, and Whitney couldn't reach him by phone, she immediately contacted Wenatchee police, triggering the search operation. But here's what's truly controversial about this case. Despite being a military veteran and National Guardsman, someone trained to serve and protect, Decker had been ordered by the courts to undergo mental health treatment and domestic violence anger management counseling as part of a parenting agreement established in September 2024. Court records reveal he refused to comply with these requirements and wouldn't even sign the parenting plan. This raises a critical question that demands honest discussion. How many red flags? The search for Decker became increasingly desperate as weeks turned into months. Authorities, recognizing his background as an experienced outdoorsman familiar with Washington's rugged terrain, initially held hope he might survive in the wilderness. However, 3 weeks into the manhunt, officials made the difficult decision to shift their focus from rescue to recovery, acknowledging that survival became less likely with each passing day. The breakthrough came on June 10th, when a helicopter crew spotted someone matching Decker's description in the same remote area where his daughters' bodies had been found. Witnesses reported seeing an individual who appeared unprepared for the harsh trail conditions and seemed to be deliberately avoiding contact with other hikers. When authorities attempted to make contact, the person fled, but tracking dogs eventually led investigators to a nearby trailhead. What makes this tragedy even more heartbreaking is the relationship dynamic it reveals. Whitney Decker, who had been married to Travis for 7 years before their divorce, told investigators that her ex-husband had always been reliable when it came to their children. He communicated regularly about parenting matters and had consistently returned the girls on schedule during previous visits. This transformation from a seemingly dependable father to someone capable of such unthinkable violence highlights a disturbing reality many prefer to ignore. The people closest to us can sometimes pose the greatest danger. The case also sparked intense debate about emergency alert systems designed to protect missing children. In the crucial hours before the girls' bodies were discovered, local police requested an Amber Alert to notify the public about the missing children. However, the Washington state agency responsible for managing these alerts declined the request, stating it didn't meet the strict federal criteria established by the U.S. Justice Department. A spokesperson for the Washington State Patrol defended this decision, arguing that an alternative alert issued on Saturday provided similar public notification, but this explanation offers little comfort to a grieving mother who believes a faster, more widespread alert might have made a difference. This bureaucratic response raises uncomfortable questions. Are our emergency systems too rigid to effectively protect children in crisis situations? Should the requirements for Amber Alerts be reconsidered when young lives hang in the balance? Whitney Decker courageously spoke publicly about her daughter's deaths for the first time in late June, addressing thousands of mourners who gathered to honor the girl's memory. "They were incredible," she said, her voice carrying both grief and determination. "I truly hope that the legacy of the girls' lives lives in everyone's heart." Her words serve as both a tribute to her daughters and a call to action for systemic change. Following this tragedy, Whitney has become an advocate for reforming the Amber Alert system, determined that her daughters' deaths might prevent similar tragedies in the future. As this case reaches its conclusion with the discovery of Decker's remains, it forces us to confront difficult truths about domestic violence, mental health, and child protection. The fact that a military-trained individual with outdoor survival skills ultimately couldn't escape the consequences of his alleged actions perhaps suggests that even in our darkest moments, justice has a way of prevailing. But the real question remains: what lessons will we learn from this tragedy, and will we have the courage to implement the changes necessary to protect other children? This case challenges us to examine not just the failures of one individual, but the systemic issues that allowed these warning signs to go unaddressed. It demands we ask ourselves uncomfortable questions about how we identify and respond to domestic violence, how we handle child custody cases involving mental health concerns, and whether our emergency alert systems are truly designed to protect those who need them most. What are your thoughts on this heartbreaking case? Do you believe our current systems for protecting children in high-risk custody situations are adequate, or is radical reform needed? Should mental health treatment be mandatory and enforceable in cases involving child custody? Share your perspective. These are conversations we can no longer afford to avoid.